Hey guys, and we are back for week 2. So excited. I hope that you guys have really started to enjoy practicing and getting deeper with your work. This is an amazing journey, so I hope you give yourself some time and some grace and enjoy the process. Um, Getting to this stage, this like now third class in the series that you guys have been a part of, takes a lot of dedication and commitment from yourself. And you've had time to reflect on different parts of your journey, your spirituality. And so you should, within time, start to achieve some great results. And you should be really proud of yourself, because this process of mediumship it's fun and hard and awesome, and it's sacred. It's a sacred journey. So week 2 of our mentorship, our mediumship course, you've now isolated the 4 major senses. So we've talked a lot about our clairs and how those are related to giving messages. And you'll find that whatever one of the 4 clairs that you really start to connect with, when you start to open them up, you also start getting your secondary senses as well. We talked about the senses of smell and taste. Those come into mediumship more than other things. So with mediumship, the smell and the taste are kind of a big deal. You will always be working with one of your main 4 clairs a lot of the time. And then a lot of times you'll get that smell and that taste, which some people don't love the taste, but a lot of people get smells and stuff as well. So that's going to be something that you're going to really come in contact with as you start to open these clairs, because I know we worked a lot with the 4 main clairs last week: the clairvoyance, claircognizant, clairsentient, and clairaudience. And then the clear smelling and clear tasting is going to be one, like, you connect to someone's grandparent and you're like, I smell smoke, or I smell cigars, or cigarettes, or I'm tasting like apple pie. That totally happens, and it's a really interesting experience. So that's going to be something that you're going to connect with. A big part of the process that we're working through is any type of fear that holds us back. When spirit connects to us, they'll be connecting through our own energy. So, we'll understand a lot about the different ways that we connect. And when we have this fear based around us, it's really important to work through that and release any expectation that you have on yourself. The key is to ask for information when you're connecting to your spirit guides, or where you're connecting to any, when you're connecting to your spirit guides, asking for information through your clairs and releasing any fears. As a medium, you have to give what you get. So when you have fears and you're holding back and you're staying stuck in the moment, and you're trying to think of what might feel good and what might be right to the person you're reading from, you can get stuck and you can get fearful, and your clairs will you won't get as connected to your clairs. And so as a medium, you have to give what you get always. That's our number one advice, is to give what you get. And a big part of when you're connecting to people, and when you're connecting to the loved ones, the spirit, and the person you're reading for, is when you do get a little bit fearful in the beginning, when you're just kind of warming up to the reading, and your clairs are just opening up, and you're just getting the sensing, and you're just really starting to open up, is to, instead of sitting and being kind of stuck, is to keep talking. That is the biggest part of a mediumship reading, because even when we do mediumship readings, if you do them like in a group setting or in a live, we tell people, give us hearts, or let us know if this information is something that feels good to you. Because as we connect to the spirit and the loved one and the person in front of us, if we all stop and just get scared, and there's not a lot of energetic interaction, then it slows everything down, and there's not as much information that comes through. So one of the biggest things is to keep talking. Is as you get any feeling, any seeing, any sensing, any hearing, anything at all, you keep giving the information. So one of the biggest things is, when you're connecting through your clairs, when they're opening up, is not to sit with your eyes closed and just panicking and trying to connect. And it's really important to keep your eyes open to find that the information is coming through whether you feel it or not. So just say whatever you get. That is a really important thing. A lot of times if we do take a step back, we kind of remove ourselves from the situation, like energetically, where if the spirit's coming in with a message and our clairs are opening up and we sit still and we get fearful, we remove ourselves into our brains, outside of our hearts, outside of the connection that we have to the person we're reading for and the spirit. So it's really important to, as you're connecting, to stay present. Keep your eyes open, keep communicating. All of your senses will start to work together. And once you've spent some time being present and giving the reading, the information is really going to flow, and you're going to start feeling into the relationship and getting names, and all your senses will be used in the delivery, and you'll find that it'll just flow. So the biggest thing is to let go of any fears that you have about, being wrong or getting stuck or trying to think and closing your eyes and taking a step back. It's all about the intention behind the reading. If you go into the reading with somebody else and you're practicing and you have confidence and you know that this isn't about you trying to get something out of the person. This isn't you trying to fool them. This isn't you trying to think that you're something that you're not. This is you finding that deep remembering of your mediumship abilities. This is you finding that depth of the sacred messenger that you are. This is you being present. This is you being confident. This is you reading the person and the spirit and speaking with confidence and being really, really present in the moment. So really the only person that's putting any type of pressure on you is yourself. And so even if you are connected to someone in this beginning portion of your mediumship and you're practicing and you get a few hints at accurate information, that's amazing. And then the next time you do it, you'll get a few more. And the next time you do it, you'll get a few more. And you're practicing is so important. What you have to remember is like the mediums that you see on TV or, in a big audience, they've been doing this for years. So you might not connect to someone and know all the information about their loved one and know everything from that first main connection. When you're practicing, it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be a ride. And as you're connecting at first, there are phases that we go into. And it's time now to break those down. Shakisha's going to start the process of letting you know how to break down the phases that we get into, so that you know that right when you connect, you might not be getting those super clear messages, and that you release the fear and you have fun and you stay present and you keep talking. That is my biggest advice during a reading for you. Now Shakisha's going to explain that for us.
Yes, keep talking. It's the biggest most helpful thing you can do. I promise you, we know what we're talking about here. Keep talking. So let's break down the communication and how to deliver a message when you're doing a mediumship reading. So as you know, when you're dealing with spirit, you're dealing with a personality, and that personality may be shy or weary or quiet. And on the other hand, they could also be loud and bubbly and brash. But ultimately, you want to treat them with respect and encourage them to talk to you. You have to allow them to build up their trust in you so that they'll give you more information. Put yourself in their shoes. Would you want to tell all of your secrets to a stranger? No. They need to understand, and they need to know, they need to trust that whatever they say to you, you're going to say it to the person who they're wanting to receive the message, right? They need to trust that. So every little thing that you get, just say it. Keep talking, right? It's also important for you to remember to make sure that the client you're reading for is at ease. Make sure that they're comfortable, so that their spirit will be happy to communicate through you, right? You have to remember to use all of your senses to gather information. We'll be doing exercises this week that will help you in developing your senses and working with the phases of communication. So let's talk about the first phase. The first phase occurs when you begin your mediumship reading, when you start the messaging. You may feel the energy around you change. Now, for me, it's always either over here on my left side, behind my shoulder, or it's in front of my right shoulder, a little off side. It's always one place or the other. I can feel the shift in the energy. So you will feel the energy shift. Sometimes it can feel like a little heavy, like there's a heavy sense of energy on the sides. But pay attention to what you feel. You'll feel the energy shift around you, especially on one side of your body. Communication may come in from one side. So you might only feel or hear or sense or know like on this side or on this side. It's always going to feel one-sided, not sort of like encompassing. So make sure you're paying attention to that. It's rare that you'll feel it on both sides at the same time. And if you do, there's often a reason, such as the body hasn't crossed, but the spirit has, for like people who are like in comas, right? Their body is still here on this earthly plane, but their spirit has crossed over. Okay? You will feel that the spirit has drawn close to you. They'll feel closer to you. The information that the spirit is giving during this phase may not be clear, okay? And that's because the link between you and the spirit hasn't gotten strong enough yet. Your job here is to identify who you're talking to. That's it. They will be providing you with enough information about who they were when they were on Earth. So the things to look for in this phase are like, are you communicating with a male or a female spirit? What caused their passing? How long have they been gone? What is their relationship to the client that you're reading for? Ask them questions and let them know that you're interested. So when they come in, are you a male or a female? Can you sense that? If not, ask. How long ago have you passed? What is your relationship to the client? Ask them. They'll know that you're interested and they'll start to give you a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And you, at the same time, can keep speaking. All right. Doing that is also going to help your client to stay at ease as well, because they'll know that you're giving them information and that information is coming through, even if it's little bits at a time, right? So just keep talking. If you're struggling here at the first phase, ask your spirit guides to help you. Ask them to raise your vibration. But remember that you're dealing with a spirit person and you have to build up their trust, right? So it may be that your vibration needs to be raised a little bit and your guides can help you do that. But it could also be that you're maybe communicating with a spirit that's shy or that's reluctant to trust, so just keep trying, keep communicating, keep asking them questions, show them that you're interested, right? Without expectation, just relax, let go of the control, and just trust the process, right? The more information that you pass over, the more information they're going to give you, the stronger your link will become, right? So the middle phase comes once that link has strengthened a bit. And this is the opportunity for you to now start to give some information of events that have happened since they've died, right? So we call this the knowledge of recent events. It could be like often like a message around like the holidays or, an ornament on the Christmas tree or, some recent family event that the spirit may have witnessed, and they'll share that with you to communicate to the client so that the client now knows and can trust that the link has been strengthened and that they're communicating and receiving information from their guide, and it will all just keep flowing in this way, right? So you want to share any knowledge of recent events that's given to you as proof of the ongoing existence, right? This is the period where real substantial messages are given, right? So the thing that the spirit really wants to communicate to the client will come through this phase. This is the time to ask the questions that you wish to ask. So if your client wanted to know something in particular, what was my experience? What did my grandparent think of my wedding experience? Like if she really wanted to know that, now is the time that you would ask that. You've strengthened the link. The spirit now trusts that you'll communicate. The person receiving the messages trusts that the process is actually happening. They have some evidence that their loved one is there. Now is the time to ask what you wish to ask, okay? So the information I want you to keep in mind that the information is going to come through quickly and clearly during this phase. So just keep talking. Again, just keep talking. It's going to come fast. When the essence of the message is given and the communicator, with the higher vibration, doesn't last too long here. So the spirit has a higher vibration. They're lowering their vibration in order to communicate with us, right? So they're going to give their information quickly, and then they'll probably start to fade away. You'll start to feel when the vibration and the link change, right? So your vibration will start to come back down, theirs will go back up, and the link will start to become a little bit weaker, a little bit more disconnected, right? So you may start to sense that once the essence of the message, whatever the spirit wanted to communicate to their loved one has been shared, you'll start to feel that pulling away. One of the things that we want you to also be aware of during the reading is that you may take on mannerisms of the spirit, right? When they were here on the earthly plane. So if the spirit tends to cover his face when he laughed or talk a lot with their hands, you may find that you're doing those things. It's okay. Questions that you may want to ask them during this phase is, what is their relationship? What kind of relationship did you have with the client? Who greeted them when they were when they went over to the other side? How are they now? Who do they need to give a message to? What is that message? And come up with your own questions too. Your client for sure is going to have questions that they'll want you to communicate. And this is the phase that you're going to be doing that in. This is your connection. So feel free to communicate and explore with spirit here. Ask a lot of questions. Know that the information is going to come fast, and spirit will always answer what they feel like answering. They may not answer all of your questions. That's okay. They're going to give you what they feel like their loved one needs to hear, and then they're done. That's just the way spirit is. The final phase, the third phase, occurs while the spirit is starting to back away. So we talked about how the information comes through really quickly in phase 2, and you will start to sense the ending of that as their vibration raises and yours lowers. It will start to pull away. You'll start to feel it. You'll know when you need to get those last few questions in. You'll feel it. And then you've entered the final phase, right? Spirit is starting to pull away. The information is going to become a little less clear. It might be a little foggy. You may find that you start to want to close your eyes to feel more. This is when you need to close the message. Thank them for the information that you've received, right? When Laureen and I know that this is happening, we often ask the client here at this stage if there is any other questions that they want to ask. We want to try to answer their questions while we're still holding on to the link. Sometimes spirit will come back in strong again. Like if there's a question that's asked and they really want to answer it, they'll come back in strong again, and you can push right back into that second phase. And then sometimes they don't. Don't be disappointed if you don't get all of your questions answered. As we've said before, spirit will tell you what you need to know, okay? Remember that this is your connection, so do not allow your client to test you in any way. If your client says something like, if it's my dad, he would tell you the name of his favorite movie, then tell the client honestly that you never received that information. Don't try to guess. Trivial things like songs and titles are irrelevant to spirit. If you have given enough evidence about the spirit, then the spirit will be satisfied. This happens many times. When clients expect names to come through, the names will come through sometimes, but not all the time. You may be listening or looking out for something else and miss the name completely. Information is coming through really fast here, really fast. Mediumship readings do not last that long. Spirit comes, they deliver their message, and they're gone. They care about the deeper messages. So if a client wants the name of a movie or a name of a song and it's not coming through, it's just not coming through. Okay? If spirit feels that it's important to give the name, then they will make sure that you hear it or that you know it. Sometimes spirits come through, and if they want to give you a message about something, they will not budge on anything else. Some of them can be really like firm and like, I want you to say this, 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 and they won't answer any other question until you say what they want you to say. So if it's important for the client to know the name of the song and the name of the movie, spirit will give it to you. And if not, then it was not what the spirit wanted to communicate, right? If you have not given all of the information across, they will not leave you. To them, their earth name may not be important. Problems can arise if you don't allow a strong enough link with spirit during the first part of the connection of the message. So phase 1, when we're strengthening the link and we're just asking male, female energy, what's your relationship? How long ago have you passed? We need to make sure that we don't skip over strengthening that link and trying to dig for the deeper information. Really sit with the energy and allow yourself to give the information that's coming through in that first phase to strengthen the link, okay? It is so important to do that, because many mediums encounter difficulty and may sit in complete silence and then give up and close the message without offering any tangible evidence or information because they skipped over that first phase where you really strengthen that connection to spirit. It can be so frustrating when that happens because the medium didn't give spirit the opportunity to get close enough to give a strong message. And it's frustrating for the medium because the medium wants to deliver the message, and it's frustrating for the client who wants to hear the message, right? If this happens, ask for help from your guides. Ask them to raise your vibration high enough to get the message that spirit needs to deliver. And with that request, with that intention, trust that it's happening. Okay, take a breath and then move forward back to phase 1, okay? Don't ever worry about going back to the first part of the connection and reconnecting and getting more evidential facts that will build up that connection again. You'll find that if you have several spirits coming through, that you could go in and out of the first connection with multiple spirits at the, one after the other, right? As a medium, you must understand that the first stage of a message may not be very clear. The spirit is still feeling his or her way around your energy and around communicating with you and trying to blend their energy field with yours. So at this stage, you must work hard to maintain some form of a verbal interaction, right? Keep speaking. I feel like that message is coming through a lot this week for you guys, is to keep speaking. It's very important at this stage, once you're starting to give readings for others, that you keep talking, because it's going to strengthen that connection and really allow you to communicate the best possible way you can with spirit. Okay. So you want to give whatever information that you get, so that the communicator will be given the opportunity to draw closer, and you want to work with you even more strongly, right? That requires you to work hard and not give up. You want to make sure that you focus in on that first phase and do not skip it. Ask the small questions: male, female, how did you die? What is your relationship? Go back into that phase 1 energy and make sure that that's strengthened. And then move into the second phase, asking your questions. They'll want to give you stuff too, right? Remember to allow the spirit to give you what they're giving you, and then you can ask some questions. Let them give you what they're giving you, and then you can ask some questions, right? Spirit will only give you the information that the client needs to know. So if they don't need to talk about an illness or a death, then they will not tell you. However, if they do need to warn the person about something, then they will let you know. Like, check the air pressure in your car tire, or, check the brakes on the car, or, check the garage door opener, whatever it is. They'll tell you if there's something that they want to warn you about, and they'll let you know. It is then your job as the medium to pass the message across as you see fit, using the words that you feel are right, that feel right to you, right? It is always better to ask the client at the start of a reading if they want to know everything. Some people may surprise you and say no. They don't want to know anything about an illness or a death. They don't want any warnings. They just want to know if they're okay. As a medium, that's what you would do.
Totally. I don't think, a lot of times I'll have to go back and ask people like, because the spirits, if they feel like they have to let you know, like about an illness or a death, like their own illness or death, not about the future, they'll tell you. If not, and they come in with information about their death that you don't know, that you want to make sure the client wants to know, because sometimes spirits are like, oh my gosh, this happened and this happened and this happened, and you're like, okay, do you want to know everything that's coming through? Because some of this is really some of this is crazy. I've never had anyone say no, but sometimes you're gonna have to use your own energy to be like, wait, hold on. Like sometimes, like Aunt Ruth will tell you all about her death and her illness and everything. Like you're like, wait a minute, okay, do you want to know all of this? So that was such a great point, Chiquisha. And yeah, they reiterate during the mediumship, they reiterate that you have to have that strong connection. Like Shakisha said, when you start, so many people will go into a reading and they'll be like connecting to, like I'll connect, like I would say I'm connecting to Shakisha and her, aunt comes through, and Shakisha wants to know what her aunt thinks about her new home decorating. As this energy is coming through, I can't be like, okay, so what do you think about the couch? Like, it's like a whole process of allowing the energy to come in, asking the simple questions, keep talking, connect that energy. The 3 phases are so important to allow them to come in gently. Then we get to the deep, juicy stuff, probably have to be like, do you want to know everything? And then allow the energy to pass away, to go, back away a little bit. In the 3rd phase, being like, do you have any questions left over? The information's not coming as clear. The message is gone. Sometimes in a hard reading, like a really good, intense reading, for me, the reading only lasts about 15 minutes. And I know Shahisha's had a very similar experience where it's like the information comes in quickly and then they're gone. That's why so many people are like, oh, are my loved ones with me all the time? Are they hanging out at my house all the time? It's like, no, because they have to lower their vibration. They're out there having fun. Their vibration is raised. They're part of like universal energy. They're just kicking it up there. They're not hanging out with us all the time. Do they stop by? Heck yes. Do they check on us? Do they, especially after they pass, do they hang out and see if everything's okay or if we're okay? Totally. But they have to lower their vibration and we have to raise our vibration, and it's the whole process. So that's why actual mediumship readings, sitting down with someone who can communicate for you, is super important. Even a medium themselves, you can get messages from loved ones, but it's so good to get that confirmation from another medium. So the 3-step process is a really important thing to allow to happen naturally, and Shakisha explained it perfectly. And as you grow as a medium, there are some things to keep in mind so that you don't have trouble connecting or, feel out of your own energy. So, so many times when we connect, we'll feel a little like we might be in our head, or we just might have trouble with that connection. Like we said, we are overthinking, we're, stuck in that moment. And so we have to keep our energy high and our vibration high. And it's all about, a lot of times, Shakisha and I, when we work with mediums or when we work with our own mentor students, we have to go back to their energy, right? We have to go back to how they're presenting themselves spiritually in their life, in their practices. And the same thing is for mediumship. Don't put pressure on yourself. If you don't connect, don't worry about it. It's practicing with that lightheartedness is going to bring you so much closer to spirit, so much more quickly on the journey than practicing with, oh, I stink, I can't do this, I'm awful, oh my gosh, this is horrible, this is all like. I know there's a stigma around mediumship. I know some people, because of religious beliefs or because of their own beliefs, don't believe in it. And I know sometimes you can be made to feel like you're just trying to take advantage of people, or that you're just trying to be something that you're not. That's not the case. You know what you're here to do. You're here to give messages. You're here to learn the process so that you could be that sacred messenger that warrior of, information, that strong sacred energy. It's so much more than just being some medium on TV and making a ton of money. You're not here for that. So don't worry. This is your sacred time to practice and not put pressure on yourself, because pressure is not gonna, you don't have to prove anybody anything. You can walk on the sacred journey with a full heart. When you're connecting to somebody, go into the reading with confidence. When you're connecting to the person you're reading for, have confidence. Don't ask leading questions in a reading. Don't ask, so how old was your dad? Like, ask the spirit, don't ask leading questions. The only questions you should be asking should be related to what the person's saying. I say, does that make sense? So many times in a reading. It's ridiculous. Like, I get sick of hearing it for myself. I'm like, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Because it doesn't make sense to me. So I have to make sure it makes sense to you. Yeah. It almost never makes sense to me. I'm just like, does that make sense? Because that's really weird. But just imagine, someone's aunt coming over and you're translating for them. Their aunt is coming over, they're speaking to their nephew, and you have to translate. None of this thing she says is going to make sense to you. So it's the same concept. You're just translating. So many times I say, does that make sense? And not asking them leading questions. I almost never ask questions in a reading unless it has to do specifically with what the spirit is saying. Or, sometimes the information that comes through in the beginning, I might have to just clarify a little bit, but no specific questions. Be sensitive to the situation. People cry in readings all the time. And actually, if they're crying, then they're connected to it and they're letting the emotions out. So be sensitive, hold space for them so this whole process can be healing. Listen to your client if they want to talk. I know spirit will be waiting impatiently. They're impatient, but sometimes your client is going to want to give you some information. This whole process of giving a reading is holding space, helping them heal, and transferring information. It's so much deeper than just mediumship. The whole process of a mediumship reading is deep. It's a healing process. When you read for your client, or the person you're reading for, read for them the same way you would want a reading. If you went into a reading, you would want the person to be calm and happy, and not forcefully happy, but calm and connected and confident and loving and holding space. You wouldn't want them to be overly scared or freaked out because you're like, wait, why are you so nervous? So read for the client as you would want to be read for in a reading. Don't, and I know we talked about this, don't allow your client or reader to test you. Like, well, what is this? It's just bad energy. It's not, the spirits don't give a crap what the person in real life's ego wants to know. They are not going to play the game. So you might as well not even attempt to do it. Don't ever read someone without permission, ever. And make your client feel comfortable. Make sure they have time at the end to ask questions. A lot of times it's really good to set up boundaries and to set a time limit on a reading. Make sure they have time to ask questions during that second to third, before the third phase comes all the way in. And just relax and have fun. Be easy, as Shikisha would say. So these are some of the essential elements of giving a reading. And it's really important to be authentic and have integrity. Just be you. If you're funny, be funny. If you're serious, be a little serious. Just be yourself. And sometimes, our students will come in and they'll say, well, how do I'm having someone ask how they can prepare for a reading. What can they do to prepare? How can they come to me in the best energy to receive a message? You can tell your clients or your readers, have them ask for their loved one to come through. Intention is great in a mediumship reading. Have them prepare a list of questions because they're going to be emotional. So have them, when they come to read to you, tell them to ask their loved ones to come through, prepare a list of questions. Tell them not to expect too much, because when they have that expectation, I want to hear from my dad. I want my dad to tell me how he died. They're going to be set on dad and how dad died, and grandma's going to come in with a super cool message and they're going to be like, nope, and that can happen. That's natural. So tell them to expectations of who comes through. It's awesome to ask the person to come through, but then let it go. To enjoy the experience. It's so fun. Like, it's a fun experience to be able to connect to spirit. And then think outside the box. Like we said, take the blinders off. You don't have to just hear that one message from that one person. Enjoy the whole experience of being delivered a message from a medium. It's a fun experience. I'm a medium, and I think it's fun to get mediumship messages. It's so fun. You may not get the person they want right away, so it's really important for them to stay and listen and stay present. And also that they're gonna, when they're in a reading with you, they're gonna forget things about their life. It's actually, it's called psychic amnesia. It's called that. They're gonna forget things in regards to their life. So you're gonna say, well, Dad's coming in and he's saying that he saw when you popped your tire, like, and this might have been like a year ago, and he said you did a really good job fixing it. And that might be something important to him because he taught you how to do that. And you're like, no. And then you leave and you're like, that exact thing happened. So make sure that they keep an open mind, because during the reading, their minds kind of go blank sometimes and they'll forget everything. So many times I'll be giving a message and they're like, no. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to make it fit, and I'm not going to change it. I'm going to leave you with it. And so many times people come back after and we're like, oh my gosh, exactly what you said was true. So don't ever make anything fit. And when you tell your clients to prepare for a reading, tell them to keep their mind open. Keep it wide open. So that 3-phase process is one of the biggest, most important things to take into a reading. And it's really how you're going to develop as a medium, and to allow those phases to come in and come out naturally. And now it's time to use what you've learned and, start using them and do messages. And over in the lesson section, we have, a lesson for you guys to do over in our Woo Collective group or with a friend. And it's time to start practicing. It's time to start. The biggest thing about mediumship is to get the knowledge behind it and then jump in. Just start practicing, feeling out the messages, learning how you give messages. Mediumship is sacred work. It is deep light work. Make time for yourself in your sacred space, or, any space that feels good, and think about this journey that you've taken towards learning more about mediumship, and consider your journey through this course and what your next step is going to be. Don't allow this to be just one of those courses that you consume and move on, right? Think about it. Think about what your next step is. Think about if this is something that feels good to you. As you practice, is this something you want to pursue? Or do you want to just use it as a way to connect to loved ones, for your friends and for yourself? There's no pressure or expectation, but having clear knowledge of what you desire moving on is going to help set the intention. So take some time to reflect on this journey, especially after you practice. Do you want to be a medium? Not everybody does, but if you're here and you felt it and it felt good, that's really important to know. And so on these spiritual journeys, we can get really deep into our journey. So if you want to join us, make sure that in going deeper with your mediumship, make sure that you also allow yourself to stay grounded and authentic on this journey, and not just be mediumship all day, every day. Make sure that you are having fun in life and you're opening your heart to your life. But mediumship can benefit people's lives in so many reasons, and it's such deep sacred work. You can deeply assist in the healing around others' issues. So if you came into this world feeling like I have to help others, I know that's part of my journey. Being a medium can help people face death of their loved one, a person who has lost a loved one, or who might be going through the process of losing a loved one, seeking guidance from spirit. If you need help in your current life, seeking guidance from a loved one is really healing to someone else. Having something that you're connected to that's bigger than yourself, believing in something. You can assist someone in believing in something that's bigger than them. You can aid in that assistance. And so it's, you know, the list goes on and on about how being a medium is one vital thing in everybody's life. It can help people grieve and overcome situations. It can help you have belief in yourself and others, and the vital information that you pass on is it could very well be the light work that you're here to do. So being a medium, obviously, that comes with its ups and downs, but it is an incredible gift. When you fully surrender to spirit, you'll understand that, you know, the commitment and work that you've done is so potent that you will never be the same. If you commit to this journey, you will change as a person. You'll face lessons. It'll send you on a deep spiritual trajectory towards spiritual growth. You'll also see love and healing merge together the moment that you connect to spirit for others, and it's going to change your life. So if this is something you're reflecting on and you want to do more deeply, commit to it. If this is your thing, commit to it, because though it's a deep journey, there's a lot of internal personal work to do. Your connection can really be life-changing. And if you are a light worker and you came here and you're like, I am meant to give messages, then congratulations on your new journey. And if you're here because you just want to share and learn how to do mediumship for your friends and yourself, then congratulations on putting the work in to learn a new tool. So whatever you do, however you move on from this, congratulate yourself. And if you go and do the connection lessons, be really proud of yourself, because going through those steps is not always easy, but once you do it, it is life-changing for others. Shikisha, any last thoughts?
Just have fun with this. Have fun with practicing. Have fun with all of it, you know? And like Laureen said, congratulations. Congratulations on doing this work. No matter what you decide to do with mediumship after this, congratulations.
Yeah, and we'll see you over in the Woo Collective, because you can totally practice over there.
Yes, you can.
Bye, guys. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.